Njani? Ngicala ukuxolisa ukufika Saturdays ababhizi kakhulu because I'm a teacher by profession. I teach in a rural school. Now at the end of so I'm based at the community school. So my routine is Monday to Friday I'm bedside, and then Friday after school I come back to Mazini. I come back to Mazini for what I'm most passionate about. Not to say I'm not passionate about teaching, but I'm very passionate about the brand that I'm running, Cotton Soy. Bonkhe Shabangu, is a teacher by profession, but I would like to describe myself as more than just a teacher because there are a lot of activities that I do outside teaching. I'm an author of a book titled A Journey to a Definite Place of Purpose. I published it in 2018 March, and then I am working on another book that should be out before the end of this year. It's titled Hustlerpreneur's Perspective. It's 99% ready. It's actually ready for print, so I'm just putting my space in order so that I can invite you guys to the book launch and you get to have what is inside there. It's a masterpiece, I promise. Apart from running Cotton Soy as a clothing brand, I used to call myself a youth motivational speaker, but because of the brands that I've been exposed to, corporate, in the formal space, informal space, I then branded myself corporate teacher. I write a lot about entrepreneurship, hustling, selling, on Facebook almost on a daily basis. So this is what started as an addiction to Facebook during my days when I was at Vivo campus, where I did agricultural education. So I come from all those fields of work. I perceive myself to be one naturally creative person. So everything that I do leans much on my natural talents. I liked Mr. Lwazi when he was here. He said he is undergoing personal training. I hope I got him right. So there is a lot that you can learn through self-teaching. I'm also a student and a self-help program. Let me not take much time introducing myself. It's just a lot that I'm doing in the small economy that we have in Eswatini.
Yeah, it's always a mistake when you have a this Mr Dlamini, please just introduce yourself. Tell us who is you and what does Pinaco Co do?
Okay, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'd like us to have some energy, to show some energy. This is an exciting time and morning. I could see that we are so formal and so quiet. That's the first thing I observed when I came here. Then why is everybody quiet? Because this is a space for young people. We don't have old people here who will be telling us of the rules of the do's and don'ts. This is an open space for us. So just smile and look at the person next to you. We are here. Hi. If you haven't introduced yourself, tell them who you are. And then so that when I introduce myself, you already introduced yourselves, all right? Okay. So my name is Lwazi Dlamini, and I come from an area called Skangeni. On your way to Lunzi, when you're coming from Oshuk, going Mojane, Peleni, you get to Skangeni, or you're coming from this side, from Spotosini, going towards Mtambanyanzi, you just turn right and you go to Skangeni. So that's where I grew up. When they attended primary, went to Swazi National High, where I did my high school, then went to University of Eswatini, where I studied journalism and mass communication. So back then, I was a writer for the Times of Eswatini. Became the youngest writer at 18, writing under the theme The Journey of a Wise Young Person. So I wrote there for about 5 years. And my theme for writing was, as a young person, there is a journey you have to travel. So it was a journey of a wise young person, that was the theme. But the main message was that you've got to travel your journey as a young person wisely. You make wise decisions, so that was me back then. I think I stopped writing around 2014. Then thereafter, went to formal employment. As I was asking about businesses, I actually remembered my first business when I was in Form 1. I was selling my chips, a hostel, because I used to stay at a hostel. So when Puma, my Fridays, Mbabane hostel, having Otupa and Bogis my chips, and we are hosted, and I would sell those. So that was my first business. So as we take one business, two business, I said, no, I did not start only one business. Painting some chips when I was in high school, so that I would have money for like pocket money. So that's what I did. And then when I got to college, I started my first business again. It was a Pinaco Co 1.0, so which was more of a think tank where I was encouraging young people to come and share some ideas of businesses they want to start, and I was there to just help them to say that this is the business we can start with, the others we can park. So I ended up having a nice structure. I think it had about 12 departments. So it was a huge company. I had a staff of 50. It was only students. So it grew so much that I didn't have control, because it was about, I've got an idea, business idea, and I'd like to be part of Great Young Minds. That's what it was called at the time. And then we started trying to register it, but it didn't work. The lawyer took the money, ran away with the money. 2,000, I borrowed from my father 5,000 in Malangeng, and then took 2,000, and then the other 3,000 went to Bushfire. That was another business. Went to Bushfire, wanted to do pictures of the people who were there and with celebrities. So it failed. And I had to shelf it up because I was still studying at the time. So I couldn't balance work and running a business. So I had to shelf it. And I told the guys who were there in the company, because I believe so much in the business. I said, guys, go to the workplace, go get experience. 10 years later, we are going to convene when we've got experiences. I said, everybody go get your master's degrees. Everybody, I said, let them go and get experience, start businesses if they can, then we're going to conventionate. So 10 years later, and exactly 2012, because this happened 2022, because the business was started in 2012. So 10 years later, that's what happened. Pinaco Co was born. So Pinaco Co is a company that started way back in 2012, but was shelved. And then come 10 years later, then when I've gained experience, I work, my background is in communication. I run a portfolio at the bank, central bank where I'm working. So then thereafter, after I've worked for 8 years in the innovation management space. So basic innovation management is being able to cultivate the innovation culture, being able to fund startups and all of it. So I realized one gap that wasn't existent, which was the lack of alternative funding options, that we will get into the discussion on that. And then that's where I got to remember that there was a business that I had shelved, and then I took it out. So Pinaco Co is a company that is connecting startups to investors. And our interest is in finding the country equity investment. We are going to get into detail about it. I'm not going to define the terms now, but that is what we are doing. We are building a marketplace whereby startups that are looking for funding will be able to meet investors, and investors who are looking for startups to invest in, they are going to fund the startups. So that is what the business is doing. And then the first one, then the second part of it is knowledge empowerment. I think we've got a teacher next to me, he's explaining the value of information and knowledge. So we have a LinkedIn page called the Swatini Startup Ecosystem, where we are trying to give young people as much knowledge as possible. The same with our platform at Pinaco Co, that we try and give young people knowledge. And then the third one is what Mr. Ngwenya spoke about, the issue of capital raising. that then now we also want to help young people raise capital. You know, for now it's through its equity capital, but of course, with the partners that are showing interest in what we are doing, we may find that we are also offering others. So in short, that's what Lwazi Dlamini is, and I like to call myself now a startup ecosystem developer, because I think my calling is to help develop startup ecosystems, starting with our own in Eswatini.
Thank you so much. That was quite beautiful. I want us to dive into the main business of today's discussion. Just define capital. What is capital?
Okay. I didn't quite get from our moderator if we are speaking in English versus what. I'm comfortable with both.
Both.
Okay, we can use both, because in sometimes when you are teaching, I'm also a teacher, though I'm not teaching in high school, but I like to pass information and it must be understood. So if I think that would be lula for all of you to understand what I'm speaking about. Ngoba kule topic lesiyidiscussa kona isuke i-technical wena ngowe inematem lamakhulu manje nxa usilesiswati tasida lokuthi khona kuvakala kahle mhlambe nje angibuyele la Swatini khona ukuthi sikhona ukuthi nasiphuma la wonke umuntu uya-understand ukuthi besikhuluma. Okay, nasikhuluma nge-capital, sikhuluma ngemali lotayidzinga uqala ibhizinisi yakho. Yeba imali ledzingwa usomabhizinisi uqala ibhizinisi yakhe.
Thank you so much.
That is one.
Mr. Shabangu, you are running Cotton Soil, and everyone is aspiring to have a clothing brand, be everywhere. I think recently we're having a discussion of having pop-up shops and stuff. Capital, how did you raise money for Cotton Soil?
Thank you, Ngwenya. To our audience, you will forgive me, the flu. So that's a party. With me, I will be frank. It was easy because I'm doing something that I've done since 2012. What a coincidence, Mr. Dlamini. Before Cotton Soil, there was Pumagim. If you remember those T-shirts that were branded Pumagim, Pumagim is Swati, then there's a butler. That was me. That is how I survived my university life. At the time when they cut the allowance, would say I cut, I was to 60% or 60%, something like that. So without a backup from home, I understood to say I have to hustle. And I was in the right space at Limo campus where the whole campus was entrepreneurially driven, and there was entrepreneurship as a practical course, there was entrepreneurship as a theory, if I may put it like that. So to start Cotton Soil in 2020, we were in lockdown. As a teacher, I was bored and I started thinking, what can I do? And I looked into Facebook. Mickey Mouse was trending. Oh, people are buying clothes even though we're in lockdown. Yeah, people are dying, but people are spending on clothes. So I started Cotton Soil with my salary. My topic basically, Mr. Ngwenya shared it, would be raising capital for side hustle. So Cotton Soil to me is a side hustle because most of the time I'm at work. So I used my salary. So I sacrificed a part of my salary, which could have been for entertainment, which could have been for food or rent or anything else. So that's why I'm being frank to say I had it easy. I knew what I wanted to do, and I had access to money. I'm not sure if I
most of my business is as a side hustle, and then you formalize it, and then you take the stage of having a team, having people around you, and having maybe a corporate space. I want to believe each and every one of us, Lokona Landlin, can have a spare of some money of some sort. So instead of looking at Mr. Dlamini and say, I want to raise 500,000, to build this app, I want a gateway for something, there's a payment fintech, something I'm doing. You can start small with the extra cash you can sacrifice and then start your business. Like we have seen damage control. I don't know what he used to start his business, but at least that side hustle. And then a fashion business, I want to emphasize. I think I've also shared with some other colleagues in some different spaces. A fashion business is scalable, especially with the rise of the mega gig economy. The fashion business is scalable. It mustn't just only end as a side hustle, but it must get into being formalized. It must get into being industrial, and it must get into being a lifestyle local clothing. How is Mr. Shabangu the importance of mindset change? You started in university, changed to work back when you're a teacher now, and then you still wanted to pursue it just to add extra cash in your pocket, and it has become to you a lifestyle, and it has become to you something that you do quickly and easily because you love it. The importance of having a change, having a mindset shift for you to focus on entrepreneurship. Just briefly on that.
Thank you, Mabuya. I don't know how did you read this from my mind, because we didn't discuss anything, and I have my points here. My first point is scale of your business, and my second point is that the assumption is that you have a profession 9 to 5, and then a side hustle is an extension of your passion. And here you are speaking to me to say, in terms of having a mindset shift to say, yes, I'm at work, but I'm going to be doing cotton soil on the side because I love it. So that speaks to passion. So that is what I was going to say to our audience today, to say, you have to be passionate about something. Steve Jobs says, do something that you love, because you are going to do it with love. So you cannot have a side hustle on something that you don't love, because it is going to frustrate you, and it is going to drain you emotionally, financially, and otherwise. So if it is going to be a side hustle, it has to be something that you love, because if at a particular time I will maybe dodge umqashi, ngithathe skip work, attend an order and cotton sway, I must do it comfortably, knowing that cotton sway is my backup. Should anything go south, I will have confidence in cotton sway, because the cotton sway is my backup. So speaking of the mindset shift, number one, you must be passionate about entrepreneurship. You must be passionate about what you want to do. Do it because you love it, not because everyone is doing it. You may see people selling perfumes and then try to sell perfumes and fail. No matter how much you know the brands and scents and everything, but if you are not passionate about entrepreneurship, passionate about selling, passionate about perfumes themselves, you are going to fail. So the shift comes from those angles to say, how much hungry are you? How big is your why? Why are you doing it? So number one, it's simple. I'm doing it because I love it. I love fashion. Where does my fashion sense come from? It comes from this fact that I grew up in Makaya. So I didn't have most of the things that cheese boys would have, if I may put it like that. No offense, but I looked at myself and say, one day I'm going to be a self-made cheese boy. So I started reading magazines, picking up trends. Then I had one thing in my mind. If I'm going to, if I wanted to make something that happened, so there's a brother here who is exactly what happened, and I don't know how to put this. I hope he's not going to get offended. So when I was at varsity, I used to fancy Vans a lot. So I decided, okay, if I want to buy a pair of Vans, how much should I have? At that time, they were $650. Or I need to sell like 3 t-shirts, then I will afford Vans. So This is the mindset or the thinking that shifted the whole way and how I do things. If I'm going to be spending on clothes, the very same clothes must bring back the money. That's it. I love them, yes, but they must bring back the money. So Mr. Lwazi mentioned of going to bush fight at some point. If I'm going to pay 1.5 and go to bush fight, in one way or the other, they at bush fight and 1.5 must come back. So the thinking starts from there. The shift in your thinking starts from there.
Fantastic. Entrepreneurship requires of you to have a different thinking pattern from your normal way of thinking. I want to go back to the issue of the core business of Pinaco Co. Beyond the traditional ventures of acquiring funding, we've got local funding institutions, we've got banks. I want you to touch just briefly on debt. Is debt funding important? What are the pros and cons of debt funding? And also touch on the other available capital raising avenues within the country and outside the country. And maybe if you can dive into what Pinaco Co is currently doing for the local entrepreneurs.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to start with the question that you asked on mindset shifts. So I'll talk about me, how I think. I think of myself as a global citizen. First of all, before I look at my location, that currently in the globe I'm located in Eswatini. So it is about first seeing yourself as the person you want to be. And I think before we get into talking about available funding options and all of that, but for me it is important that you see yourself as the person that God created you to be. So as a global citizen, I look at the world as if I'm just in another part of the world, but I'm in the world. So that helps you extending when you approach impilo noma approach a business. How we approach the business wena njengemuntu lobuke Eswatini kuphela. And that helps you excelling. Nangabe utibona number one, I have a teacher next to me. If umfana esikolo athi ufuna kuthola position 1, indlela asebenza ngayo akafanani nalofuna ukuthola position. Lo into longangenela nje ukuthola position 1. So the mindset ila excelling. Cale utibone ungilokho ofisa kwangiko. 2, ubese wena, you set yourself apart and say, I'm not going to be like everybody else. And that is going to help you. How many teachers are like you? I was just looking at your profile on Facebook and I said, this is impressive. How many teachers are like you? And you'll find that maybe less than 1% of the whole teachers in the country, because you decided to set yourself apart. You decided to see yourself as something else. So the same with business. This thing I call colleagues, than my colleagues. That's why I had to bring up the aspect here. Even now I'm building my home in Skangen. Because in my heart, I just want to make sure people, it's not about where you are located. I could have chosen Tubu or Dalrich to build, but Makele, because in our minds, I want us young people to understand that it's not about the location where you are. I know Ekwezi, we used to go there for our camps. It doesn't matter what is going, but the mindset shift is important. So I just wanted to emphasize that it's important that you have the right mindset. And normally in mindset, your friends, they count, because if utoka nemuntu lo natishela lonje nabesangana natishela la celeni kwami mami ngifuna lokusendwe niyibone ukuthi practical nohlala natishela lonje akutshela ukuthi usawu attend ama-orders akhe kamanzini ubathi uyacabanga wena ude ngisho order lema-sweet lema-ice khona luthi ten-ice boy ude ngisho order lema-ice usibantu liyashisa langa bafuna ama-ice. So now that person will push you up. Okay, now talking about indlela raise imali, and ngifuna ukukhuluma ngale Swati because when it comes to this industry I'm in, it's got big terms and big explanations, and I don't want that. I'm a communicator.
Yeah.
So I want to put it on the lower shelf.
Okay.
To say that nangabe raise imali yebusiness kudependa ngokuthi le business yakho iyini, le business yakho idzingani, because business ngibekuse ngana guest yaflacelele ukuthi ye clothing shop, and nangabe kuyi clothing business udzinga ukuthi ube ne capital ekhamba yobrandisa tikipa bese uyabuya uthengisa. So capital yaloko before siyokhuluma ngethi debt nabo equity nabo bani udzinga imali enganani. That's the third question. Imali nemali oyidzinga because ngente udzinga 2000. Now udzinga 2000. Lo 2000 ufuna ukuhamba uboleke yini ukuthi uyaphutha ukuyisele emuva, noma lo 2000 lo mdzingako kwawena ungamkhokha, which is in his case utikhokhele yena lo 2000 wahamba woticuphela yini. So now I want us to understand ukuthi kudependa ukuthi business iyini, kudependa ukuthi idzinga malini, nekwekuthi ke wena le mali ufuna ukuyisebenzisela ini. Also about scaling. Nangabe le business safuna nje ukuyicala kuphela, mhlawumbe ukuthi imali encane. And then in terms of lama types of funding lakhona ukuthi lapho so uyabuka ukuthi I think le business yami itaba nayo imali etongena every month, sibiza le cash flow, itaba nayo i-cash flow. So lokusho ukuthi le mali ngakhona kuyiboleka. Siyabuka okay, nangiyiboleka ngiyiboleka kubani? Ngitayiboleka friends and family. That's one way. Ngahamba ngekumalume ngothi malume ngicela ngiboleke 2000 ngifuna uhamba ngiyocupha tikipa ngasengiyadithengisa. Nangibuka ema-orders ami ngina-10 ama-order. Tikipa ngathengisanga nga-300 emalanga. Thosi ngiyangithola 3000. So ngicela ukuthi ngikubhadale ngabo 500 emalangeni. Ithatha period ya 6 months ukuthi le mali ngiyibhadale yonke. Simple. You have raised money from money malume. Or you decide ukuthi alright, ukhona sengikhuluma ngalo sikwenede. Ngifuna lamatemu ngawachaza ngalesingisi but ngawuqala ngalesiswati bese ngiyasho ukuthi okay, lona ke debt, lona ke equity. Okay. So now solo sikhuluma ngesikwenede nyana ukuthi ngiyahamba ngiyiboleka nemali. So ngahamba ngiyiboleke ku friends and family, ngahamba futhi imali ngiyiboleka ebhanki. Nangabe uqashiwe unjengami nje ngakhona kuhamba and borrow the money from where? The bank. Udemo songa sivaswati. Songa sivaswati. Okay. Ngahamba ngiyoyiboleka le mali ebhanki. Ibhanki ngibese liyasho ukuthi i-interest yami 20%. Asho malume hayi mina ngicela ukunikeza 10%. Or so yahamba uyoyiboleka ka-youth fund. Youth fund niyamademusi. Youth fund afike asho ukuthi yena i-interest yami u6%. So ke now kule issue yekuboleka, so ubese so ubuka ukuthi ngikuphi la kutakshiphe la khona kuboleka. So that is when we are talking about again le debt, ukuthi kule debt. Sekunaleyo indlela ephinda uboleka ibhizinisi. Leyo nguleke ukuthi uhambe uyo-applyela ema-grant. I was judging in a competition nje lebe ikhona estegi. Lapho khona osomabhizinisi basestegi they were pitching. The mali lebe ikhona lapho was 50,000 seed funding provided by SNG Country and Frontier. So lapho bekuyimali lefana ne-grant ukuthi you are, or it's a competition. So it's either a competition, it's a grant or what. So we are apply, befike ba-pitch these young people, baqala nge-workshop ya 2 days, bese ba-pitcha for the money. Bawina ke bawina. So leyo ngenye indlela yani yekuraise imali. Lapho le mali awayiboleki ngiyabona. You didn't borrow the money. It's just money that is given because you won a competition or you were able to apply successfully for a grant. So that is another way. It's ngaqala ngalesiswati umloko ukuthi ukhanze ukuthi sitayihlanganisela nemali le business yethu idinga 2000 still ndakhuluma ngalo 2000 ndawufaka 500 lomnye afake 500 lomnye afake 500 lomnye afake 500 sikhona kuyakha ini le mali lesiyidingayo. So there is another way. I-crowdfunding ele ukuthi sithi sibaningi siyi-crowd but senajani siyayifunda uyabona le business so leyo i-crowdfunding. So crowdfunding, that is also one way. And then another way sekulo venture capital. So lapho noma angicale because angel investors ngikhabarishile ngithi ngo friends and family because friends can be your angel investor my family members or my colleagues, anyone longaboleka le mali. And then sekunanaba lebutiwa ma investors. Right. My investors, please give me that book. What an investor is. So part of what the mindset shift helps you is this. Reading. I got here, sat down, and I picked a book because my instinctively I read. When I got here, I looked at what is in there. I can tell you now who has done those pictures. It's my mindset. When I look around and I read. And lo and behold, let me tell you what this book says. So now, what's going to happen go underline now. So please give me just a moment to log on. But they've got a nice way that they've defined here what an investor is. Please just give me a moment. There's a nice definition here that they have. Okay. So, all right, I'll find it. Anyways, what I want to share with you is that an investor is a person who will come into your business and say, I like your idea. And because I like your idea, I see how much money do you need. 2,000 Malange. That's okay. I will give you the 2,000 Malange and you have for a portion of your business. And then if you are giving a person a portion of your business, that means someone who becomes what? A partner. Yeah. Now I want to be I want to give shares, you want to give my shares to the person. So logo say complicated when say complicated because now the process of giving someone shares in your business now will involve a contract, it will involve due diligence, it will involve we would see the valuation of your business because I need to be able, if in Tata in 2,000 in your business, I need to know how much your business is worth. So that means the business must be valued. So venture capital now becomes one of the highest levels of investments. Investor in your business. The ones we have at Pinaco Co, you asked me about, available partners that we have. Batala 1.5 million in terms of investment. But would say your business must be looking for 1.5 million up to 10 million would go getter. And then Zion Venture Partners, it's open. You can go up to about $20 million US and all of that. But I'm fully figure out. Then you can decide to sell shares in your business. But lama shares shares. You have issued 150 million shares. Each share malini. How many shares are you going to dispose? Maybe 30% of the business or 25% of the business. But usually, now we raise the money. so ufika ku-equity stage ngile khathi le bhizinisi seyivuthiwe awusenza gama lekuvula naseyivuthiwe le bhizinisi so ubona ukuthi no sengiyibolekile imali nayiboleka imali lapha and ngibathe ngiyabuka no it's not enough or ngibathe ngiyayibuka le bhizinisi yami ngifuna kucala nayo i-app yami le app yami idodinga ukuthi ngibe na 200,000 to build a platform then ubona ukuthi 200,000 ngeke ngikhona ukumraiser as a debt because I don't have cash flow because nangabe utosebenzisa i-debt especially now utaka ebhange. One of the reasons why young people or people, entrepreneurs can't raise money with the banks is that libhange litofuna ukuthi ube ne-cash flow, there is money coming in every month. Number two, ube ne-collateral because libhange alikuboleki imali yayo, liboleka imali yalabanye bantu. So that money must come back. So if the bank is using depositors' money to borrow you the 2001, ufuna ibuye lo 2000. So nangabe wena ungeke umakhe ne-cash flow every month, sekufuna ukuthi ube nendlu ongabanika yona ukuthi na ungakhona batayithengisa bathole le mali yalabantu back and plus the profit. So that's why it's again now when you are raising money udependa ngokuthi le business seyikusiphi stage. So I think, and then outside, you mentioned the issue outside was how can you raise money outside? So outside Tinesna too were my partners. There is equity-based crowdfunding platform. Now was not them, but when a platform now I raise up on imali with other people who are going to bring in their funds by Fagalanga business, or you can then raise it with an investor. I'm looking for startups that are in the tech space who are looking for imali between 9 and 9. So that is how you are able to raise. I hope I've simplified it for you. And then when we come to the question and answer, which I hope I will have, if you now want the technical aspects of it, I will give it to you.
Yeah. I want you to go back just briefly. On just touch briefly on the crowdfunding platform, how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the crowdfunding platform wouldn't for campaigns. So when you apply, because we are also a new company, we are 2 years old, and we are also raising right now. But we are raising through a grant. So we've received backing from Amazon Web Services that's helping. So on a crowdfunding corner, you are going to apply. I'll explain the process to make everybody understand. So you're going to prepare a pitch deck, which is going to be 10 slides that is talking about your business. I think we're going to talk about a pitch deck later on. You've got the 10 slides. Now you submit a pitch deck. If they see that the business has got potential, they will then help you with the business planning. So they help you prepare a business plan and all of that. After the business plan, then it's going to go to an investment committee. The investment committee, evaluate business then the campaign, they are able to time it to say that it's going to be a 1-year campaign, a 3-year campaign, and then it's supposed to raise 5 million, say. So 5 million. And then they are going to then launch the campaign. They launch it in their website. Go get her, you can check them out, go get her to the Africa. So that nobody my campaigns are going. They launch it on the platform. Once it's been launched, then my investors, whether my venture capital investors or it's just normal people who want to invest in the businesses. So we'll then go on the platform, register, my name is Lwazi or my name is Pinaco Co. Register. I'm interested in buying shares because you are buying shares. I'm interested in buying shares in this business or in this company. Then you're going to put in your money. You're going to get, of course, what will be your return on investment. This is called IRR, internal rate of return. So what will be, so internal rate of return is back as an interest or as profit. So then the people is like, I could have raised the money with one institution, which is a bank. But right now I'm raising the money with 100 other people. But I'm still raising money still. But I'm now using a crowd to raise the money. That is what crowdfunding. That's how crowdfunding works.
No, we behave of course. I want to jump in quickly to what you touched on. Every business has got a fund, has got a stage, and at each and every stage, it requires a different funding option. I think it must be very clear to every entrepreneur to understand at what stage their business is, and then from there they will understand. From understanding at what stage their business is in, they will understand. They will know the value of their business, which is a business valuation. Then that takes them to your books, your finances, your cash flows, and everything, so that you know when you want to raise funding through debt, which is financial institutions. Most of those ones, you said, which is correct, they are looking for collateral or cash flow. And convincing cash flow, the business plan, yes, can be there to guide them for their foresight. But they want to see what comes in, what goes out. What is your business spending on? What do you want to finance specifically in the business? Either you want to finance a business unit, you want to finance growth, or it's just order funding. You just want to bring in stock and then send it back. I think it's very important for every entrepreneur to understand every time you want to raise funds or every time you're looking for money, at what stage are you in? How much do you require? So that you can be able to pick who do you go to. The options you mentioned involves your family and friends, involves your financial institutions, which is debt, and then the venture funding. There's one thing I want to touch on before we go to the Q&As. Before you go to the Q&As, what are investors looking at, or where do they have appetite to currently? What kind of businesses are, let's say, your venture capitalists or these guys who are saying they've got money?
Yeah.
What kind of businesses are they looking for these days?
All right. Ngicela le question yakho uqala ngalo lo ibundile ekuqaleni ukuthi what at what stage do you need capital and what type of capital do you need? That is the fundamental question that you need to ask. Before you can talk about what investors are looking for and all of them, you need to understand your business. If business yam is a social enterprise, we are fighting GBV. So if it's going to be GBV and I'm looking for funding, I'm not going to be talking to investors. I need to be talking to my NGOs, my grants, the US Embassy, EU. So because the type of business that I'm running is a social enterprise. So I think before my investors afuna in. Let's just understand what's the business yako. The business yako. It's a photography business. So if it's a photography business, what do I need the funding for? If I need funding to buy the cameras for my business, then I may not need to be looking for an investor per se. I may just be looking for debt. Because the stage of the business is that I am just buying equipment. And that equipment, like only cash flow, so I'm going to get Emma things. So I think the length if I understand the before you my investors. So right now, let's say you've got a small business, but so now we could use the business here. Because my investors, they come in when it's a growth business and it's making cash flow. Because I'll run you through what the investors are looking for. One of them that approach us. And it will look impossible because our economy is so small. So let me just start and run it now. I'm now giving you the technical details. In a small business. So typically, a VC will be looking for a company that is in mining, different sectors depending on their area of focus. But maybe fintech is an area of interest. You've got technology, health tech or agri-tech, but just technology, they've got interest there. And then energy sector, they've got interest there. With renewable energy, we're facing an energy crisis in Africa. They're looking for those sectors. So in terms of sectors that is what they focus on. And then also you find that they've got gender inclination. That is, they're looking for female, they're more inclined into that. And then also climate change inclined. To say that, does it have a sustainability model built into it? Is it a sustainable business? Is it not polluting the environment and all of that? And then when it comes now to the figures, the ticket size, we call it ticket sizes. The ticket sizes, they will typically say, as I've given an example of the two we have, that they start from 1.5 million upwards. Because for them, it's a high risk, high return kind of an investment when it comes to VCs, called green fields, green investments. That's what they normally call. And then in terms of now your business, they will say that it must be EBITDA positive. But angisho kanje ukuthi nasi analyze le business yakho sekhanza ukuthi nasi sikhokhe costs, because EBITDA is standing for earnings before tax, interest, amortization. Okay, angithi after sesikhokhe onke lama cost, onke ama cost of business yakha malini le business yakho. Is it making positive profit? Is it making profit or losses? So okay, start up. Number two, cash flow. They'll typically say they need a cash flow of 1 million monthly cash flow, or at minimum 500,000 monthly cash flow. You see, what automatically a circle mail lama business lamancane, It may be a startup, but a startup that is doing very well. So okay, now the criteria leyo, it better say somehow say vele disqualify la business because bona they want to be sure that it's a cash flow. Typically, this is what the three things they look for in my investors. One, it's got to be a business that's got substantial assets, whether the assets are intellectual property or they are physical assets. Say it's a factory, it's got assets. And then number two, it needs to have cash flow. And then thirdly, it needs to be inefficient in how it's investing its cash flow, or it's looking for growth, So that is what they look for. Because I want us to define my investors. My investors, Are you talking of my investors that are at a lower level, crowdfunding level, or are you talking of venture capital investors? Because ayihlukana, and vele lalo khuluma ngawo that you're interested in when you talk of VCs, those ones are looking for large ticket sizes. But I think I've tried to explain what is it that they are looking for.
Yeah, Mr. Shabangu, looking at your fashion business, where it is now, and your plans for scale, what excites you about the industry of fashion? And number two, if you were to go back and start afresh, what could you have done better with the experience you have now?
I'm learning a lot from Mr. Dlamini because he is from the formal space, and I would say I'm still in the informal space. But as he takes us through everything, I'm picking up some of the terms because not really. I've came across some of them during good differences I want and when you follow your dragon stands, speeches, all those. So those are basically shows the flows stigmatized now so that we can get hang of it, how it works. There's nothing interesting as more than what it did, you look at Mr. Dlamini, he came in here, studied the place, picked up a book, That is how it works. That is how you set yourself apart from the rest of the pack. And that is just what entrepreneurship requires from us. The capital, would see same wanting the owner or founder of Walmart. Would see capital is not scarce, but vision. once you have the vision, the capital is going to be there. So I'm going to be quickly, Mbabane. Nangoqala Cotton Sway in 2020. I went to Ila's place. Ila is a very good friend of mine. So I only had two white hoodies I put into it. One was medium drop shoulder, more like this t-shirt with its baggy. The other one was a small sized Nayo baggy cut. So I showed him the designs and he said, so where are they? Where are the hoodies, boy? What's there? Two hoodies in the car. What's all hands? That's no, but those ones are for a photo shoot. That's no one hands. Our lands in my sweater, my hoodie. What that's a medium what on me. Also the one was small. So solo type of sofa in the house I shoot. We posted on Facebook same time. He has got a huge following. One poster like now one post. I don't know if you are going to believe this, but in 2 weeks I had like 50 orders. I was selling hoodie at 350 at the time. So I didn't have the money now to like service 50 orders in 2 weeks. So you tell the people, because they've already loved it. Ila is a brand that they trust. I've built my name. They know me. They trust me. And I said, okay, I require 50% deposit. So they paid the deposits. And I don't know, it was just like the hoodies were selling. So I didn't even have a person who had the material at that time, but I figured things out in that space. I got a guy at Timbuktu. I would literally drive to Timbuktu outside Manzini to collect the blank hoodies, come back to town and brand, then start delivering. So from a Facebook post, a friend who had a following came through at the right time. So my capital at that time was not in terms of money. It was in terms of my psyche. Who is in my space. And then it becomes easy. That's when I imagine I would say, never an order for 4,000, but in 2.5, can I pay you 2.5? I go deliver, I collect, I come back and settle the balance. So it's like a relationship. So build the relationships in that way. Capitalize on your social media space. I looked at Mr. Shope, the Nagati introducer. I quickly went to Facebook. He has got 10,000 followers. Keep on building that account. It works. The moment they look into your account, it's already got big numbers. They listen because they see your numbers. So to answer Mr. Ngwenya on the questions that he asked, to say if I were to go back and start afresh, maybe at this point can you come back again with the questions, Mr. Ngwenya, so that now I just feel something that's an share to the audience.
That was very important. I asked that if you can get a chance to start back afresh, what can you do better given the experience?
Let me answer that one direct. I would stop outsourcing. Right now I outsource. I can't sew. I don't have the equipment for branding. I outsource everything. But the material, I literally go look for it. Buy the material, take it to the guys who are good at sewing. The branding, I go to a print shop and tell them this is the kind of branding that I want. So if I were to start afresh, I would make sure that I invest in sewing machines and hire people to do the sewing for me. I would travel maybe to China to look for fabric and get it cheaper and bring it and import it. On branding, I would invest in the equipment because, like Mr. Dlamini said, when you're just buying equipment, you can do that through debt. Because you're just buying equipment. It's not like you need someone to invest in it. You just need equipment so that work can get going. So I would invest in creative people because all along I've been relying on what I know myself in terms of graphics design. It's only now that I've started engaging the guys that I know. I'm sorry to say I am a very smart guy. Everywhere I go and make sure I make a relationship. So those guys at the print shop, they are my friends now. So my things get done quicker than everyone else. Now I have the liberty to get inside and hit press myself. Then I pack and I go to pay. Hey boss, this is so much, because I have my prices now. So along the way, build a relationship. So I would be quick at building those relationships, and I would make sure I'm very particular with who do I build a relationship with. So I wouldn't rely on myself much, because everything has been through what I know in the streets. Now I would just look for the guys who are good at whatever space, bring them into my own space. It becomes easy, and there's nothing as enjoyable as having people who are just a call away. To say, hey, there's this guy who does my illustrations for the recent cotton sweat t-shirts. Hey, I'm gonna 1, 2, 3. He's not gonna give me stress. Hey, Marlene, I'm busy. No, so I know when they. It's because we understand that also create those kind of people who would understand what's about Dilanaba.
Fantastic.
There was another question.
I am picking. I won't go into that question. I'm opening the Q&A session now. I picked something quickly. You said you'd invest in equipment. To me, it dawned that when you are running a business, it's very important to make sure you control your own value chain, you own it. From the top to the bottom, try and own a stake in your value chain. Your production, your distribution, your branding, your raw material as well. If you can't, then, but you must have good relations. You know, you get your raw material as well. And also travel and expose yourself to the industry, to the specific sector you like. If there are shows, go to those fashion shows. If there are road shows, go to those road shows. If it costs for you to travel to SA, go to SA. Try to expose yourself as much as possible. I'm opening the floor now to anyone who has questions.
Please allow me to read this. So they are defining here an investor as anyone who commits money in order to earn financial benefits in the future. So that's what I wanted to pick up for you. That they are saying it's anyone. In fact, they are saying most Americans, whether they realize it or not, are actually investors. And they are making an example with the funeral cover and insurance. So insurance, if you are putting money every month for an insurance, you are an investor. So I think let's not complicate things and think an investor is somebody who's you can also be an investor. I invested in my own business. By that, I took some money. So savings, if you are saving money, you are an investor yourself, but you're investing where? In your own business, because your business and yourself are different things. I'm an employee at Pinaco Co, but Pinaco Co is not me. So I invested as a shareholder. So how it happens is that in your business, you're going to have directors. So directors are what? Are shareholders, right? So you get shareholding because you have done what? An investment. You have invested capital. So we own the business, we invest.
Questions?
Hello.
Introduce yourself and then ask.
My name is Mbabane Shabangu, and it's not necessarily Christian as a Christian, but it's more of advice. I personally have way too many ideas in my head that are supposed to be out there, but they just like one thing that's a problem. I have a problem, which is I have the idea and I know how to implement the idea, but I can just never move past that point of putting their head down and actually doing it. So what would be your advice to a person like me who wants to start a business but is just procrastinating?
That's it. You just have to start. Start small as you can. And that's why I don't want, I try by all means. There's a lot that I can share that is a bit above, but it seems foreign, because if I tell you that we are raising 21 million US dollars, it's about 300 million, then that becomes, you're like, no, I can't. These people are big, and this is done by people who've got connections, Kanzi, when it comes to starting a business, you just take the first step. If it is getting your first client, and he is a typical example of starting it, he had 2 hoodies. And he went to an influencer, the influencer said, let's take a picture. And then that's how it started. The orders came in because he just decided to start. So I would say that to encourage you, what if it would work? What if it works out? What if it becomes a unicorn? What if it works? What if it works? Just that. Just that. And there is no question.
Before we move, I think I tell you advice. I said, Mr Shabangu. Okay, ngikhulele emakhaya kunema-farms siyalima kakhulu. Ngayekwazi ukuseka, ngachoose i-BCom, setimali, accounting and finance. But inside me, there's this thing with man, ukhulele farming. And uyabona ukuthi this thing will never go wrong. Before 2021, bekusapply ku-market market. Bengisemakethe ekhulu lapha bambude. Manje mfana ukuyilwa ngini? Ngafika ku-corporate. Ngakhohlwa konke. And then kunalapho ngabuya naNshabangu ukuthi abonge social media, okay, as much as abanye abantu bangathi imsebenzisa kabi. For me, I get inspired mangibona ema-posting. So khona nje elinye into wabayifaka bathi wena uyadifundisa into graphic designing yethi wofunza lapha BSc. So I tried it, wangehlula. Konke leyo ngiposta bengizama nami ngifuna ukuthi bambele ukuthi okay, how do you develop a website? Lokhu kwenta njani? Cabanga network ngama-financials, but mawubuya ngala sofuna wena kwakhe ama-post, ufuna wenda lokhu. At the same time, mawuye ekhaya kunetingubo ubambele kude like yokuchubeka. So ngifuna ukubuda, what can be your advice ku-career yakho nale hustle yakho loto uyichoose ukuthi ikhona i-influence ukuthi okay wena ufunza nawo but uthatha nawo ubone ukuthi ngathi akuhambi la.
I would say when let me just call a spade a spade. Washa life balance, because you have virtual mentor or virtual mentors, people you follow, you get to read follow their work, and wazama let some spaces up, let me try to apply. So I don't know, maybe you were not that intentional now. You were fascinated by Djibouti, okay, I'm in the right space. There are these people on social media and they are bringing a lot of material to me. Let me try to use. So you were using the material at a time when you didn't really have a big why. Understanding, oh, okay. You just basically pick things that make sense to you. So now you have a good work, by the way. The Mr. Dlamini, there's a student of mine in Form 4 just now. The teacher I just said it's ICT and anything finance. That's what I said to them. Because those are the jobs that are best paying. Sangena deep, we now in the space of financials, we are evaluating my business, we charge about auditing and whatnot. I don't know all those terms, but I have the understanding. ICT, you build the apps, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Elon Musk, Twitter, talk about SpaceX, and you're like, So you have got a good job because you are in the business of finances and everything to do with that. So in your case, we were mega village, but now I go back to the drawing board to say, okay, we go and I've done everything. I've sold suits, I've sold shoes, I've sold episodes, I've sold sneakers. I've sold a lot of things. I've done forex. Even I even told people how to trade and made money out of that. Got scammed, shipped out. I've done a lot of things. But now I'm teaching, writing, cotton. Anything that comes my way must fall in between law. But logo call him, it's teaching, cotton and writing. So the thing when I was attending, my strength is here. Number 4 that I can add is marketing. I'm very obsessed with marketing. Everything, dramas I will have on Facebook, I'm telling you today, it's marketing. Everything, every stunt I pull there, everything that happens around me there, it's marketing. Because I believe the best marketing strategy doesn't look like it's marketing. And coming back to the question, you will bear with me. So coming back to you, now go and focus your energies. You have the energy, but now go focus it. So it will shape up on its own. The fact that you just started, let me come back to Mr. Dlamini. He said, Pinaco Co, Watala 2012. And he said to the team, guys, go get skilled, go get empowered, go get equipped, whatever. Years later, we'll come back. And the comeback is happening now. So everything that we've done, the thing you didn't understand. The first time I read about branding, it was 2014, I was doing my 40 annual campus. The first time, I still have that document and I printed out a library. I had extra units at print and pass. I still have that document. It talks about the 9 principles of branding. That was the first time I got obsessed about branding. Then I started following brands. Years later, I've been here, I'm carrying a diary United Holdings. I've been a brand ambassador for United Holdings for 22 months. They were paying me 4,000 per month. Because the money being in the standard bank. Every month, the account. What comes in, what goes out. They offered me a loan, 43,000. I took that loan, I don't share those things on Facebook, but I will share with you today because you have sacrificed your time. Mr. Ngwenya, the reason why, even personal, when you tell Bonkhe he's not a brand influencer that he thinks he is, it becomes personal because I know how much I've worked. I know my story, I know what I'm doing. So, Mr. Mkilij, you know your story, the very same story that you have shared with us, and you are in the social media space, go to Facebook, tell those stories. The story. Tell it. People buy emotions. Now I'm talking to everyone. People buy emotions. People are not buying cotton soy because it's nice or whatever. People are buying cotton soy because of the emotions that I cultivate me as Bonkhe. The stories. This guy is telling us a lot about himself. I know what I'm doing. I'm programming people to buy me. People are going to buy because I keep on giving them. Even if it's something bad, I will share it because I'm like, this guy, hey, this guy's resilient. Hey, this guy. No, I know what I'm doing. My money is in the emotions that when you are going to receive or going to, on that receiving end. That is it. I've been following DJ Spoo, Strike Masio. They are very good at this game of emotions. I'm from the streets. He is from the corporate space. I will tell you, with the strategy, and this is how it is happening. And I will take his journey to now formalize. I will take from him, you understand? So, what I've shared just now is for everyone. I hope it answers you. Go focus your energies. That is my summary to your question. Go focus your energies now. Everything else will shape up on its own.
Okay, I want to bring in an aspect that is maybe a different view from what Bonkhe spoke about, the issue of passion, because he spoke a lot about passion. So I'll tell you from my experience running a business that there are different ways of financing a business, and one of them that I found, I spoke about the others earlier on, but one I want to bring to your attention is just a cash flow business, right? And I was having a conversation with a colleague of mine. He's a business advisor at Pinaco. He works for R&B. with a very lucrative salary. If I can tell you now with all of your chair, how much is being paid. But you are saying, he's got a business that he knows it's going to work. But right now, he can't raise the money for that business. So what he's doing is that he is starting another business, which is what then we call it hustling. Starting another business that will finance the business that he wants to build. Because at times, you won't be able to attract the type of funding because you don't even have le idea. Kwana nawo usazama kuyichaza ukuthi mama ngifuna kwentanga uyabona. So now usazama kuyichaza kulukhulu lokuthi utochazela lo umuntu umconvince. So what you rather do, hamba uyoyendele tingulube takho. And awuteli tingulube ngoba une-passion. You understand? Utela ngoba tiletha imali, I'll give you an example with our own company, Pinaco Co. How we are making cash flow right now is not through the platform that I'm talking about. That one is still making 0 Malagi. The platform, the marketplace for investors that I'm still looking. But brand consultants is what's bringing the most amount of money. So I started by saying, no, I don't have passion for branding and all of that. But that is what is bringing money, you see. So sometimes you are going to finance what you are passionate about using something that you are not passionate about. So I just needed to bring that to your point. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be an ice block, it could be tingulube, it could be just anything that will bring money to you, so that you don't also find yourself giving up easily on your idea, saying it doesn't work. And it's not that it doesn't work, it's because you just need to finance. You need to be the first investor with. And what they look for, Nasek also raise a substantial amount of money. But have you failed before? How much money have you invested yourself in the business? So they want to see that. And if we're now doing business business, then it makes sense. They will want to back you up because they've seen that you want to make this work. I think that's what I wanted to throw in.
I'll just take one question. Sorry, I'm just noticing what you just said. Some others are flipping the script. Is it McDonald's? They're passionate about meat, but they're selling real estate.
Yeah.
Exactly. Currently, the local businesses we see, the loan sharks, they're actually selling second-hand cars, not money.
Yeah.
So I have two questions for both of you. I just want to understand, okay, I'm in the engineering industry. So the dream is to open engineering as possible. I've been in Matsapa, worked there for years, and now I understand what is the industry. And when also the woman told me, and I was like, no, let me try and take this thing. So I want to understand, we've had more brands like engineer, and all of this was the brands by India. But I'm following you on Facebook. I'm trading as Bola Art Engineering. I'm following you on Facebook. And the two more of them are So how I'm having this big engineering companies with trying to not so much how are you able to fight and make the standards like ube umswati? Yeah, please answer me there. And then we are Mr. Corporate. Meaning you said something about crowdfunding.
Yes, crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding. I've registered. I'm working on my trading license now. So I own 60% shares of my own company. I want to sell the 40% to a crowdfunder or something like that. How do you price shares?
Thank you for being one of the people who receive my content the other end. I appreciate that, and thank you for the kudos on how I do my work, on what I do. I liked the part where you said I want to believe, yeah, I'm crazy. You have to be crazy. You have to look at Swaziland and say this is a small economy. You have to look at Swaziland and say not everyone is doing what I do. You have to think in milestones, look beyond. Mina ngiqhamuka emakhaya ngafunza njani le ibongodzeni. Nanyalo ibhasi le yakamanzini yakushiya ekuseni, you will catch it the next day. So ngiqhamuka lapho. So I've got one quote that I live by. It's I am louder than my background. So mina kukonke lengikwendako ngishape kakhulu i-background yami and looking at where I want to go. Every time I teach maths, biology, science, I should be teaching agriculture, but at the time you figure this maths and science. So I've been teaching maths and science to a level that Mr Dlamini, I'm now comfortable in that department. You compare maths and science to agriculture is 7 level. So I wouldn't have that life balance, Mr. Nhleko, over agriculture. Okay, so there's this maths that I have. Normally, if I would sell 3,000 units of whatever at 350 each, at 350 malangin, I use rands a lot because that's how I think. I think South Africa, I don't think Swaziland. Logo talking get 1,050,000. Nanga tensema wood lang 3,000, 350 each. That's gonna be 1,050,000. If I can sell something at 3,000, it could be maybe shoes, like really, really nice formal shoes, maybe handmade or maybe one importer from Turkey or Italy. At 3,000 rands per pair, in sense 350 times, that will give me 1,050,000. So let me say so long now. Ngizangibhale ebhodini ngibhalele bantwana ngiyathulula kwenda million singakamendi but niyathukulula but angeke teacher it's okay malini tunic but in 450 tunic it's okay. How many girls are here in the school? Mabomla school is in 300 shothi mantombazana ahlala amanenge kunathi asithi ang180 mantombazana. So all these 180 girls in the school have got a tunic ya 450 times 180. Okay, fine. Bangakla bagcoka grasshopper ingimalini grasshopper grasshopper in 800, 750, depending on where you are buying it. Girls wear grasshopper, bafana wear grasshopper. How many schools do we have in the country? Even grade 7s are wearing a grasshopper. If you can get money, Wambu tallest source, get a plug, tallest hallway. Grasshopper. Bring it in. Target a call. Shows now my order, maybe for China or wherever. Shows you order about September, October, so that they have 3 months shipment by January. You do your back to school special and whatnot. So that's the thinking. That's how I think. I look at myself as a teacher and say, yeah, I'm a teacher because this is where the economy has placed me. But really, what do I want? If I can share with you right now, we're open. I'm teaching. I can survive without teaching now. But I'm alone. First finance. At a time when I was young, I started teaching when I was 23. I'm turning 31, 10 March this year. So I took that loan way back. I can't even tell you who's going to but it's long term. I was young, got into a job and don't have money because I had access to money. So to answer it, how I get to do all those things, I just think ahead. I think outside Swaziland, I look at big brands. I'm sorry to say, there is no local brand in Swaziland that inspires me. Good space links in terms of clothing. Good. Because when you look at these guys, you see, this one is doing it the same way I'm doing it. So I look at your Galaxy Boy, your Big A by Procter in Botswana. I look at there's this one in Nigeria. I will remember it. Uncle Vinny was a brand ambassador for it. It's trending these days. I will remember that brand. I will check it on Instagram. I've just forgotten its name. I used to follow this guy. He passed away, Virgil Abloh. Virgil Abloh was a designer for LV. Did you know your Coco Chanel, your Gucci, your LV, all those bling bling brands, they are owned by this guy who is number 2 in the world in terms of being rich. they are same family. You go to Sentin, there's Diamond Walk. When KO says Diamond Walk Mall, it's actually a flow in Sentin Mall. It's a flow. It has got all those shops. They are owned by one person worldwide. All those shops. So I pick inspiration from these stories. So Virgil Abloh at some point was a fashion designer and director for those brands. And Kanye West at some point was an intern with the same guy. So this guy, Virgil Abloh, is the one who owns Off-White. I look at those brands, how they think, how they move, and you bring it to Swaziland. So that's how Cotton Sway is different, because I take it from those guys and bring it here. That is it.
Excellent. Because you had a directed question to you.
1,050,000. Can someone take a calculator for me or your phone and do these numbers for me? I also love numbers. I'm from comms, but I love numbers. Can you calculate, let's say you've got 30 years left for you to retire, for those of us that are in informal employment. You multiply that by, let's say your employer is giving you 3,000 Mlangeni. So that's 30 years, no, 30, not 30. 30 years, you multiply that by 3,000 Mlangeni. Multiply that by 12 in a month. Come on, Malin.
It's 1,080,000.
So it's about above the 50,000 mark.
Yes.
So what that means is that if where I'm working right now, my employer is paying 3,000 Mlangeni towards pension, which they are not. In some institution we'll mind that. So that means for the next 30 years,
1,080,000.
1 million and what? And 80,000. For how many years?
30.
For how many years?
30 years.
And then how much did he say you can make? Did you hear his math? He said 350 times what? 3,000 units. So if you can do those 3,000 units in 12 months, you have made the money you could have made in 30 years. That's the reason why we are in business. So for those of you that are feeling, well, guys, entrepreneurship is not ours, it's teenagers, it's our corporate. That's the money. Always remember that he spoke about 1,050,000, I spoke about 1 million and what? And 80,000. So just remember that figure. All right. As we examine my shares, we're going to see now when you want to sell your shares, a business at what stage is your business? Is it already running? It's already running in a cash flow. Okay, it's got, if you've got a business, it's running, it's got cash flow. Because what I'll give some of these things in bits and pieces, because it's a lot. It's a whole, people go to school for 4 years, study a degree in investment management. It's a whole course. So if I'm sharing these things, it's because we need. So now I want you to understand that for the benefit of everyone else about the issue of shares, is that there are people you can bring into the business because you can't afford to pay them a salary. You can then give them shares. All right. So you are able to get expertise from outside using just your business, give them shares. But also for you, when you want to sell the shares, why do you want to sell the shares?
I'd love
to raise money. Is it raising money?
Yeah.
You want to raise money for the business? For some machinery. Okay. So that's fine. So what needs to happen then? You need to get a financial analyst. I'm not a financial analyst, but you need to get a financial analyst that will be able to first evaluate the value of the business. So valuing a business will take into account my assets now currently and my financial projections based on your cash flow. So that's how they'll determine the value. They'll calculate. Accountants, CAs are able to do that for you. We've got an accountant over there. If he has covered that area, he can then do the calculation for you. So then they will calculate for you and then be able to say your business is valued at 2 million Mlangeni. And then Emma shares Nabawa Koka Langwani, Kumlabawa Koka Abang 1 cent. Yes. For every business, registered business, it's 1 cent per share. That's how they calculate it. Then you need to get your financial analyst is going to calculate the value of the business. Then look at the shares that are available. So 70% work or local mamai. worth how many shares, and then because it starts from so your minimum is 1 cent, then get again cooler based on the business. So I would say to answer that question, I'm not the right person to answer it. You need to engage an accountant that will do the calculation and then will tell you how much your business is worth. And then you also need a business advisor, and that is why we exist as Pinaco Co. Right now, we are in the process of signing MOUs with business advisors, so one of the large audit firms in the country, so that we can be able to provide the kind of support that you need. Because I am weary, I don't want you to sell your shares for imali encane, and yet that it's a big business. Because once you sell a share, you have already brought in a person who's the one la ebhizinisini yakho will now be a director nawe. The business house I own with I own in 2, no money in 3, no money in 4. And the person has got power to make decisions, so it may influence the business. So normally by advise the equity to be at the last one. I told you that Pinaco is raising, right? So we were in Midrand just a few months, no, it's 3 weeks ago. Yeah, 3 weeks ago I was in Midrand, played golf, and then went to meet our cap raising partner, and we were talking the issue of raising as well. And then that's where we got to get le grants to build the platform, because the money that we needed to build the platform being cool, and he advised against disposing equity. I had a conversation with Theo Baloy. Yes. So we're sitting with him, and I was asking him about the same issue of shares, and he was telling me that right now you see how big Batu is now. So Batu is big, it's large. He's employing about 400 people now. He's expanding his business today, 37,000 square meters. Yeah, and then he'll be employing about 600 now in the next few months. But Batu is still owning 100% of the business. He's not disposed any shares. As large as the business is, as lucrative as it is, it could easily now say 5% of the business, and investors will come flocking. In fact, they've been knocking on the door saying we want to buy shares. But he has not disposed of the shares because he understands that you need to grow your EBITDA, you need to grow your net asset value of the business. Then once you've grown it, you've pushed it as high as possible, then that's where you can let people in. Because, the value of the business, at Pinaco Co, we've got people knocking as well. We want to buy shares, And we are saying we are not at the level of shares as yet. So now the issue of the advisory that I was talking about, we need to first sit down and you get a person who's going to advise you of how else can you raise the money besides equity. Because equity normally works for companies that are now big, like FNB. FNB recently listed in the country, stock exchange. They listed for 24% of the business. So that is raising money through equity because you are buying shares at FNB. But look at how large FNB is. How many years they've been in this country, but they have not been giving out any shares. They grew the business using other forms of funding. So that is what I would share with you. Like, let's look at what other options are available. And then if you want, that's why I put in the aspect here, partner. But if you were disposing of a certain percentage of the shares because you want to bring in an expertise outside, maybe yes. But then just make sure that you get an accountant that will know the value of the business. It's an engineering business. An engineering business can be worth millions of a Malayan. So let's not try and sell it cheap because we don't know how big it's going to go.
Fantastic. Mr. Dlamini, I was just thinking quickly. Now, I mentioned about thinking of the issue of Batu being still Theo controlling almost the entire business.
It's controlling 100% of
100% of the business.
It's the only shareholder.
Then it means Batu is expanding on grants or maybe on competitions.
Yeah.
He's winning money and then investing into the business. Yeah. Locally, we've got the Young Business, we've got other competitions that are coming up. We've got the Entrepreneur of the Year. Polish your registration, have your workspace good, join the Entrepreneur of the Year, see if you can't have a car in that competition. If you win, you've got more money there, you've got a car. There's an increase in asset without getting me in, pumping 50,000 for you to buy in the machinery and then taking over 40% stake. Which, when you do a business valuation after a year, 40% stake, any more than you are even earning.
Or like Steve Jobs, I'll kick you out.
I'll kick you out of the business. Because after getting 40%, in a year or two of operation, I can think of expanding. And if we expand together, we take a risk. Once we expand, our business valuation grows. It's the EBITDA. If we do it well, it grows. And then I can think of saying, how can I buy you out of the business? And the minute I buy you out of the business, I put in skilled people. There is one conversation I watched, how you put in, if the business is lucrative enough and if you've got a good vision, there is a reason why a smart, clever boy will ditch their job at Google and support your startup business, which hasn't generated in the same revenue. I'm just saying, it's an engineering business. Think if you can have a friend who works for these big engineering companies, who can come in with a skill, be an asset in the business. Not bringing in money, but negotiate with the person to run the business together and bring the expertise you need. In Montigny or the other companies, see if you can't grow the business value with a person who is an asset in the business. That is a mistake. It's so risky. I think we need to go to closing. I have passed. I will open for one question, which will be 2 seconds, if long, and then you guys will be winding up.
Quality choices that's now in kule topic yana raising a capital since lanas nabo grant nabo venture and what ni bile ngaba equality choices so there's not see the best.
Okay, mina lenga encourage kakhulu. If usebenza, save money. Now when you perform unemployment like us, save money that you can use to start your business. And then number 2, look at starting small. Because now small, you are able to use like imali encane that is available. You, especially for you, Nje, because it's not your business is not profit making, and yeah. So for profit making, you may start small. Invest in driving the courses, and then what he mentioned in about marketing. Marketing is very important. I think even now, I talk about my business, Pinaco Co. We have not made a single cent from the platform we are building. But because we have built a brand, it's strong, such that people think we are a big business. We are not a big business, but what we've concentrated on is building the brand, and making sure that we state what we are about. So in raising the money, so 1, it is your own savings. Number 2, it is starting small, imali encane. Number 3, saying look, apply la grants. Apply for you, it's a social enterprise. Look at even Nabo microfinance. What's this thing? They are saying Makai. RDF, yes. Look at RDF. Can you put together 8 young people in the area, that you can then access the funding? So look at the different grants that are available. Applying or NGOs that who are promoting this, Deputy Prime Minister's office. You look at UNICEF or the UN family, we talk about that. So look at how you can be able to get support. Another way of raising money is partnerships. Ungafuni kubane kwakho wethu. Mbuke ukuthi nanglo munye is doing the same cause as you. Join them and see if you can do something together, especially if it's social causes. But if it's a business, then you may want to get support that is not financial. I'll share a secret with you of how I'm able to have expertise in the company, Pinaco Co. I just approached friends that I was with at college. Some of them, I know them from my area, and I asked them to be business advisors. So as business advisors, they've come into the company and then they are creating networks for me when the different countries they are in. 3 of them are not in Eswatini. So they create the partnerships, and then through the partnerships, I'm able to get sometimes non-marital support. Because if I had hired Mbabane with the platform we are building with AI, we are this will be powered by AI. But I don't have that expertise. I can't afford to hire a person who's got AI. I've got an intern who's an AI engineer. But then what I do is that in the meetings, the formal meetings we're having with Amazon, I will bring in the person who's got expertise at master's level, who works for big companies in the world. When I'm in that meeting, they are thinking, hey, this company is big. Hey, this company. So you leverage on the people that you can build. He mentioned the issue of partnership. It's very important that you have people that you know, that people that have got credibility. Ila Boy set him up. If you've got that person, sometimes you don't need the money. So capital may not, there is network capital, there is the financial capital. Capital may be actually the network, not the money. Because we are surviving, partially because of the network capital we have.
Yeah, that answers the question. Thank you so much, Mkhosi. For now, I think we should wind up. I'll give it to you, Mr. Shabangu, your parting shots for the session, and then Mr. Dlamini. That's briefly.
Thank you, Mbabane. I'm very obsessed with how brands grow. So back to you, Dube. Everything that I do, it's with that in mind. I'm obsessed with how brands grow. I'm always following brands. So in Nasan Kulumage Batu, Batu has got 33 shops nationwide in South Africa. I didn't know Theo owns 100% of everything in Batu, but they are building a group of companies. So they are basically riding on the footmark TFG, the Foschini group, your Miladies, what's within the Foschini group. You can go research what's in there. So there's a new brand. I'm sharing this one in confidence, meaning it's for your benefit because you are here. You don't share it with anyone. There's an upcoming sneaker brand in South Africa. It's called Monosi. Monosi is dressing up every celebrity in South Africa I can think of. And Monosi's got a very, very small shop in Newtown Junction Mall where Cassper Nyovest used to have his family tree store in Joburg. In Newtown Junction Mall, there's a studio, MPD Studios, on your entrance there. That's where your DJs, your questers, everyone goes in there for podcast and whatnot. There's that MPD studio there. So all the celebrities are attracted by that mall. So we got to know about Monosi with my brother in SA this way. We network a lot. We like making friends, but without us being groupies, you don't do that. Because they will know you are there for the fleshy things. Just be normal. Just be a normal person. Don't be moved by whatever projects they are doing. Just keep on listening and engage positively. That's how you network. Don't be excited. Hey, this is Mr. Lwazi. No, be calm. The person is going to buy into your calmness. So we got this Monosi story now that Batu. Remember, I said I'm sharing this in confidence. I got inspired, and I hope this will inspire everyone else here. Monosi is a small shop. You walk in there, you don't see the business, but the sneakers are there. So this guy locked a deal with Batu for 5 million. They are giving him that 5 million in cash. And Batu is giving it to Monosi. What Batu is seeing in Monosi is that Monosi has been big on social media, yet they don't have the muscle. And Monosi has been smart to give most celebrities. They are even dressing a team in Cape Town. I think it's Cape Town, whatever. They are giving them the sneakers, the whole team there. And then they have been to Metro FM, your YFM, your whatever big radio station telling the Monosi story. And then Batu sees them as a threat. Then they're buying them into their group. So I may be in Swaziland running Cotton Soil. I don't know who tomorrow will approach me and say, this is a big brand. We buy into it. And then my last parting shot is this brother of mine that I'm talking about. We are running a clothing brand. It's called Abuti. The reason why I don't talk about it much on Facebook is because we don't want this brand to appear as a Swazi brand. My brother is dual citizen, South African and Swazi. So I don't tell the Abuti story, but I'm a big part of it. It was started by me in a hostel room embassy. But now we are trying to position it as a South African brand. That's why almost every month I go to Joburg, because I have to be part of that story. I have the DNA of the brand, it's with me. I have to go there, put in my mind. So you asked, how do I get to be doing everything that I do? There is something outside Swaziland that is attracting me and that is driving me to do better. I look at myself as being here as my primary location, but the mind is not here. I don't know how many times I've said this on Facebook that Nyafuna Ngeke teaching, because it has gone to a point where I feel I should be doing these things full time. Because and it is now that I have the energy. So it is now that I have this, my story is more compelling now. You know, I can wake up tomorrow and quit teaching and announce, I'm quitting teaching, I'm done, I'm starting this business, please support me. You will shame this guy and you will support just for that. Because I've told you the story. Even if I happen to struggle, I will share that I thought it was gonna be easy, but this is what shapes up an entrepreneur. Still, Mr. Strive Masiwa says, we don't fight the conditions, but we fight in the conditions. You get that? So I just want to appreciate your time for thinking what's being something there for free. This is not for free. It's more like me writing a book and print it for $30 and sell it for $150. That is what has happened today. What you gained here will set you apart. Just go and start. If I got your name right, just go start. Just make a move. Brand yourself, everyone. Brand yourself. Be a brand. If you can see Ilapen Boy, how he walks in the streets, how he walks up to stage, that guy is a superstar. Not because he's my friend. It's because I see. I know him in and out. If you feel I'm a superstar, carry yourself as a superstar. If you feel I'm a corporate magnet like Mr. Lwazi, just be that. Live it. Live it. I mean, I wake up every day and tell myself I'm not an average teacher. I say it. If other people get offended, if you are not average, who is average? I don't care. I mean, I'm not an average teacher. That's what drives me. Be crazy, whatever idea, focus your energies. This year I'm not doing much, just Cotton Soy and the book that is coming. Nothing else. Nothing else. Lomnyaka, Bill Gates, there are no semesters in life. In life, there are no semesters. There are seasons, they keep on coming. Life throws them at you in whatever order. There's no particular order. There are no semesters. So number one, you walk out of this door, you tell yourself, today I'm changed, I'm different. You are not changed by us, we are changed by the ambience, you are changed by the space. Swaziland is very, very small. That's why we don't have McDonald's. For us to have McDonald's, there must be a population of 2 million. So you see, it's a far-fetched dream for us to have McDonald's. There's a lot to share, it's in the book, it's coming. Can I challenge my audience?
Please.
I'm sharing this in confidence. I shouldn't be sharing it. The book is 228 pages. I'm gonna print it for $64 and I'm gonna be selling it for $250. I started writing it in 2019
And do that.
So now this guy is giving us printing the book for $64, selling it for $250. No, it's the knowledge. I told you it's a masterpiece. Think about it, 228 pages since 2019. Your mega gig economy that he talked about, it's there. Your art of selling, it's there. How you position yourself, how you expose yourself, it's there. Everything you can think of, it's there. So now, this is what I'm giving to you. If you want a share in that book, I'm bringing it for $64. If we are 25 here, to print 100 copies, I need 6,480 to print 100 copies. If I'm going to need 6.4 to print 100 copies, I'm going to need to sell 25 copies to recover my 6.4. I will remain with 75 copies in stock. that's going to be like 18,000 something profit. If you want to be part of this, bring your 2K. We go print the books. I will sell them, give you your money. If it takes the whole year, be patient. The book will eventually sell. We just need to sell. Hamboba, sengubalele mina ukuthi 6.4. Now sengisa 25 copies uyabuya. Lalela. The 25 copies ngilomthengisa on the day of the launch.
And this is crowdfunding for production.
You understand? The 25 copies ngilomthengisa on the day of the launch. I can decide to wake up tomorrow, but I normally wait for Mondays because Mondays it's when everyone is new, looking up to something new for the week. I can decide to make this announcement on Monday to say you can now pre-order. The book is coming in April. You can now pre-order, which means you pay upfront, and they pay the 250. But for 25, I go print my book. We come back, we launch the book. Already 25 is 1 bill. The book is here. It's more like I've printed it for free because I didn't have the money. I don't have it right now, but it's going to happen. So I have to save maybe 2K when I get paid this month, 2K next month, 2K the other month, then the book comes. But now I'm giving it to you. If you have 2K, bring me 2K. I will put mine, he puts his. We go print the books. I will sell them. You won't have the task of selling the book.
Yeah.
Let's make it a movement. You will make money. Whatever you make with the book, it's yours. I just want the book to circulate. And I just want it printed. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Dlamini. I think it was supposed to be a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a market.
Yeah.
So you can see that he can speak. All right. This is how we think when you're thinking business. And I love his mindset. So the first thing that I would like to say as my parting words is that you need to have the right mindset. And don't be afraid to dream. Dreaming is free. It doesn't cost you anything. And I remember one time they asked me, I was doing a vision board session with some young people. And I told them that my vision board is running until 2061. They said, how? So what if it doesn't happen? I said, that's fine. I lose nothing. Because in any case, dreaming is free. I can write my dreams, write that this is what I want. If it happens, it happens. I'm happy. If it doesn't, then I'm fine. So I'll start my parting words with reading this book that I picked up there when I got here. They call it the set of rules. So number 1, they are saying, stick to the basics. They are easy to pick out and understand. So the basics of business, stick to that. The basic of thinking, stick to that. Number 2, another rule, be patient and very patient, yet always ready to make a change. That's the second principle that this book shares. And then the last principle, they say, you can do it yourself. And you most probably should do it yourself. Meaning, don't wait for somebody to come in and do it for you. Somebody to, we are waiting for some big investor somewhere. You can do it yourself. So, and I said that the mindset begins with you being able to be aware of the environment. I told you what I did when I came here, picked up this book, and here I am now sharing an advice that I took from a book. So knowledge is hidden here. And then I also want to encourage you, you can go to the browser slides so that you can be able to follow. This is what I plan to share with you, the story of Pinaco, but I'll just skip that, proceed to the next slide. Who we are, I think I covered that, but it was going to be good if I was showing you, but the projector decided to act on us. Continue, I already shared this with you. And then what I want to demonstrate to you, please allow me to stand up, is that we've got this platform. It's going to be accessed through pinaco.com, and it's a market phase for startups and investors. So right now, the AI model we have, we've got 60 startups now in our database. So it's able to do the ranking. So we've got platinum startups, gold startups, and silver startups to do the ranking based on a predefined parameter that then does the scoring of the startup. So I encourage you that if you've got a startup, do register on the Pinaco Co platform. And that is to allow you to access different types of services. Can you go back to the other slide? Please, where am Yeah. So as an entrepreneur, no, that's one. You'll be able to showcase your startup. Number two, get exclusive access to equity investors, to webinars and private pitch events. I'm going to share the webinars for this year. They've already been scheduled so that you are able to connect yourself to knowledge, right? Okay, let's proceed. Okay, past that, I already spoke about that. I mentioned that it's going to be powered by Amazon Web Services, which is a team. They've got an atomic computing that is helping us build the platform. All right, skip that. And then I want you to pay attention to this resource that we have opened. This resource is called a Eswatini Startup Ecosystem. We are driving robust and sound conversation about Eswatini startups. So I want you to make sure you go subscribe to that. We've got a subscription of 394 for now. So I'd like you to go and subscribe to that platform so that you are able to get knowledge. And the latest article that I wrote is titled The Red Car and the Domino Effect. The red car meaning, if I were to ask you now to start sporting a red car when you are moving out of this place, you will see a lot of red cars. But if you are not looking at the red cars, you are just not going to see any red car. You think these are just cars. So the red car is saying, in Eswatini, we do have a lot of opportunities that you young people have. And some of the opportunities are created by you. So make sure, that's my parting words, make sure that you are able to spot the red cars. And then the other one is the domino effect. Dominoes, have you seen someone in the emakati amani, maybe in a secular form? And then if we start in a card, we say our own. So that is the domino effect, that if you are able to build a business that is as successful as his brand, it's going to have a domino effect in that. It's going to inspire a lot of young people in the country to do the same. So know that we are also looking up to you. We have a damage control company. Yes, we are also looking as damage control. As we manage it, as we control the damage. If you control the damage well, it will have a domino effect on our economy. Can you go on? And then we encourage you to also contribute. It's an open newsletter. It's not for you to read only. If you've got an article that you want to write, you're in the health sector. My brother is in the health sector. If you want to write about, what's happening in the health sector, the startup economy, that sector of the startup, write so that we generate this knowledge. And then the upcoming webinars. These are the webinars that we have scheduled for young people. And this is where we are going to get you the experts. I was speaking as just general information today. I did not give you depth. So we are going to have a webinar titled Funding Your Startup Debt versus Equity now in March. We're going to be having a VC, a venture capitalist, that will be speaking to this from an informed point of view because I'm not a VC. So it's going to share that. And then an investor pitch deck 2.0, we had one last year, and then we'll be having another one this year. And then in June, navigating the investor landscape, which is also going to dive deep into what you need to know about the landscape. And then for understanding the African startup ecosystem. And there I'm hoping we'll be getting Startup Link, which is the partner that we are engaging to help develop the Eswatini startup ecosystem from a policy point of view. And then Eswatini to the world, we want to hear more startup success stories like his. This is where we'll be showcasing that Eswatini does have success stories. As small as they are existing. And then the impact of AI and machine learning on startups, we are going to look at also, the technology aspect of it. And then the last one is protecting intellectual property, what you need to know when it comes to IP. So this is my offer to you. And then the next one, you can look at the webinars. You can go on YouTube, just type Pinaco Co, you'll find the webinars that we've hosted before. Another one, no, go back. So another one that we have hosted, we hosted 2 webinars last year, was raising capital on the Eswatini Stock Exchange. So you're gonna find that in that link. And then the Startup Hub, if you want to register, you've got a startup and you want to register, you'll just scan that QR code. I hope he will share the presentation with you so that you are able to learn.
Thank you so much, Ngozi. That was a mouthful. I hope everyone will check Pinaco Co. You want 2 minutes, Mr. Shabangu.
Just a second. get charged, get fired up. These things, they are doable. You just have to start, travel, see things around. Every time when I'm in Joburg, Mandisa, he takes me to Zenzidio because I've gotten used to it. But every day you learn something new. There's one time where Singene Stolo Saga, what's this biggest brand? It's new in Africa. They have the only one pop-up shop in Africa. It's Amiri. You see Amiri, that brand. So one time we walk in there, who the shopkeeper la store, who the the security card, isn't it? So you imagine it's a security card. Neuro talk chilos that blue was selling 55,000. So one time we woke up there and Wapuma Porisa. Those people are very easy when they are there. They are difficult when when they are in South Africa, they are average people. Because there's a lot of Maporisas there. So they will give you attention. Go out and meet those people. DJ is cool. Very, very easy guy. He speaks, but very, very easy. The first time I met him, he came to us. Just say, oh, you guys are here. And one secret we had around him, we had more fire cans in our shop there in Joburg. So, you buy some more fire. Yes, been pretty. Just like that. So, Nyalo, we have his contact. Go that side. Swaziland is very, very small. It's going to limit you. Don't live with harm. Live to, to attract things to you. A t-shirt that I sell for $200, it's $700 inside. Because the economy is big. People don't complain. And if you're a black business inside, they will support you for that. They will ask you, who owns Abuti? We want to be sure. It's not a white guy. No, it's us. Guys, big point. They pay. A tracksuit for cotton soy that I sell for 900 this side in South Africa, my brother sells it for 1.8. People buy. There's a family that will come and say, for myself, for my wife and my 2 kids, and they will pay you like 7K, same time. Imali cool. But good discounts.
There is a quote that I love very much. It says, begin unknown, but make sure you finish unforgettable. Don't be afraid to start small. And as you run your business, don't be too quick to say your stake. Ensure you run your business, you know every part and everything that makes it breathe. Lastly, partnerships are very important. You won't do it alone. Yes, entrepreneurship journey, they say it's traveled by the sole entrepreneur. But for your success, you need other entrepreneurs around you. You need to have partnerships. Don't look at your competitors as just literal competitors. Look at how you can collaborate. If we keep on fighting in the market, we'll kill each other. But if we collaborate, there's a lot we can achieve. Thank you so much.